Now, the 1991 team had star players like Robert Smith, Tom Mikowski, a Sanford Span, Dwight Patton, Royce Love, Damon Glenn, um, Marcel France, Royce Robertson, and also the quarterback, Bob Gillis. Uh, but now you're going to the 1992 team. Give us a little difference between those two teams.
Well, number one, Robert was a year older than them. Robert was already gone to Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, the linemen were very good. Dino was a hard worker. And you know, we had the other dominant guys in there. And then Greg did a very nice job. Greg was a good runner with the football. He was very dangerous with the ball in our boot series. So basically all we had was a boot series and a three-step series, which he threw to. He had a strong arm, but he wasn't real accurate as far as today's standards. I think it would have helped if we had all the camps that we have today and been able to let him throw every day during the summer. But he had a very strong arm and a very good elusive runner.
Gotcha. Now this next team you had, the 1992 team, had some good players on that team. You still had Royce Robertson and Damon Glenn, but now you didn't have the same offensive line, correct?
Yeah. Well, we had Sanford Span. He stepped in there. The Cook brothers came in there. They were nice, solid high school football players, but the biggest difference, you know, they didn't have Division I size. I mean, in the previous 2 years, you had Robert Smith, Tom Mikowski, and those types of guys. It's very hard to consistently come up with guys that are 6'2", 6'3", 255, 260 at that time. So it was a whole different type of team in the fact that we had a solid quarterback, but one that, I mean, he maximized all his skills. Duncan Purnell was our quarterback, and we didn't have a ton of threats out there other than throwing the outside 9 ball, or in that case, back in those days, we called it a 0 ball. But we definitely had some weaknesses over the previous year.
Gotcha. Now this season, you know, you guys started off with Lake Central and Michigan City Routes, just like you did in '91, but y'all lost those first 2 games. In '91, y'all won those 2 games. What happened in the beginning of the season?
Well, you know, that Michigan City game was very aggravating. I remember. I think that's we dedicated the field to Pete Brzezinski, I think, that day, and that was an aggravating loss. And in Lake Central, we had a good ball club that year, very good football team. So we knew going in, we had some rebuilding, and we had a lot of work to do with that offensive line. But then, you know, as the season wore on, we got on a little bit of a roll.
Yes, you know, you guys won 8 straight games. Going into the regional, sectional, you guys beat Gary Westside 56-20, and then you had a tough ball game with Gary Wallace. You won 15-14. Now you're playing against Maryville again at Maryville. Kind of go into that game. I know Maryville had Jamal Williams, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, Jamal was coming off. Jamal missed his previous season. He didn't play against us in that previous sectional final. He was hurt. He got hurt early in the year. His junior year, was coming back for his senior year, and you know, he was going to go on to have a great career at Nebraska, correct, before he played for the Washington Redskins. And it was going to be a battle of Jamal and a battle of Royce, and that's what it came down to. We had some chances down there late. We lost the ball game. What was that score? 17-14?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we had some chances down in that game, and we were kind of the opposite role. We were the hunter, where the year before we were the hunted. Maryville came in there being the heavy favorite, and us being the underdogs, we did a nice job hanging in that ball game.
Wow. How did Royce Robertson have the great year when he didn't have the same offensive line as the year before, and then you had a slight difference in as far as the quarterback play? How did Roy still maintain having a great season?
Well, very rarely do you get a guy that can run, in the 14s, and I'm talking about mid to low 14, 110 high hurdles, and at 6'2", he's probably going at about 200 at that time in his life. I mean, he was a beast to try to take down. He was fast, so he had a very good year. He was a great player, and he went on and had a nice career at Wisconsin, and then ended up his career at Southwest Missouri State. So, Royce was a tremendous high school football player.
Okay. Now, if you can pick, which team is the better team, the 1991 team or the 92 team?
Oh, not even close, 91.
Wow.
Not even close. I mean, because not only you had Royce on both those ball clubs, and that was really one of the few common denominators. We had a few linemen that contributed to both, but that team had to be retooled, like you mentioned, losing our first two ball games, and that team was fairly dominant, and that was still when some of the suburban teams that are struggling around right now, like Lake Central's scuffling a bit right now. I mean, they were as good as they got as it gets there for a long period of time, and you guys played against some of their better teams. So,
yes.
We were able to really dominate those teams with the 91 team. 92 team was more of a work in progress.
After having two great seasons back to back, going 10-1, they're going 8-3. Now you as a coach, you have high expectations. The school is getting a name as being a powerhouse now in the region, also in the state. Now you have a new group of guys. You have a new quarterback in John Massey. You have some skilled guys, Willie Collins, Albert Thomas, Brian Hardaway. You have new interior guys like Damon Williams, T.C. Wilson. Just to give you a few names. Now, what is your goals for that season?
Well, we had pretty good goal, pretty high expectations going into the season. You mentioned T.C. was a very good high school offensive lineman and had a nice college career. Damon was a very good, was an opposing physical specimen, and you mentioned the skill guys. We had a lot of nice skill guys, but none of them were real big. John had nice size, but you were mentioning Hardaway and Willie and those guys and Albert Thomas. We weren't real big, where in the past, the previous years, we mentioned Royce and Martell. Those guys were physically a physical presence and very tough to take down. I think our biggest problem that year is, number one, we faced a very tough Lake Central team, and Willie got his toes hung up on a sprinkling system and blew his knee in that ball game. And then what was happening is, and I know this is part of your debate, our schedule was changing dramatically. We were losing a lot of the suburban teams around here, either because of changing of conferences, us getting a little better, and now with me being on the other side of the fence, after being at a suburban school for a few years at Crown Point, and being in a DAC, Carl, you got to be careful on the non-conference games, because when you get into the conference, you're loaded. So now you're not too excited. You're willing to play someone strong, one team, but two teams with your non-conference games are an awful tough order. So now we were forced to go out. We were playing the Ben Davises. We were playing the Providence Catholics out of New Lenox, Illinois, and we were playing Penn High School, and It was, you throw the schedule and the talent, youngness of the talent, and we did struggle.